Imagine waking up and your internet is basically gone. Not slow, not spotty, just social media blocked. In 2025, Nepal tried that, and it didn't calm things down. It lit the fuse for the biggest political meltdown Nepal has seen in years, which led to forcing out a sitting prime minister and triggered snap elections. Nepal, the Himalayan country most people only associate with Everest, the highest mountain on earth, is heading into it on March 5th, 2026, after a youth-led uprising, deadly street violence, and a shock interim government led by a former Chief Justice. The real question isn't who will win. The real question is, can Nepal finally stop the loop where governments rise, collapse, reshuffle, and repeat? Nepal has had around 14 governments since becoming a republic in 2008, and prime ministers rarely finish full terms. To understand what's about to happen, you need to know one weird rule that basically forces Nepal into coalition chaos, and we'll get to that in a minute. Why you should care, and why Nepal matters more than you think. Nepal sits between India and China, two giants with competing influence, money, and security interests. Nepal isn't just a pretty mountain postcard, it's a strategic buffer state, and every internal crisis quickly becomes external pressure. Also, Nepal has a young population, huge labor migration, and chronic frustration with corruption and job scarcity. So when politics fails, people don't just complain, they leave for work abroad or they pour into streets. So when Nepal votes, it's not just who wins seats, it's who controls the state in a high stakes geopolitical neighborhood, while a huge chunk of the workforce is overseas. The election system that creates coalition drama, every single time. Okay, here's the system that makes Nepal's politics feel like a season finale every 6 months. Nepal's House of Representatives has 275 seats. 165 are elected by first past the post, local constituencies. 110 are elected by proportional representation, party lists nationwide. This mixed system is meant to balance local representation with broader fairness, but it also means you often get big parties winning lots of constituency seats, mid-sized parties winning meaningful PR seats, and enough smaller kingmaker parties to make coalition building a permanent sport. So if you're wondering why is Nepal always changing governments, hold that thought, because the answer is not just politicians bad, it's structural. Quick modern history, how Nepal got here. Nepal used to be a monarchy, then things blew up, literally. After years of turmoil, the 2006 People's Movement forced an end to King Yanindra's direct rule, restoring democratic politics and setting Nepal on the path away from monarchy. Then came the Maoist insurgency era's political endgame, a peace process that integrated former Maoist rebels into mainstream politics, leading into elections and a new political order. In 2008, a specially elected assembly formally abolished the monarchy, part of a deal that helped end the insurgency that had killed around 17,000 people between 1996 and 2006. So Nepal becomes a republic. And you'd think that stability follows. But here's the twist. Instability became the new normal. Why Nepal has had 14 governments since 2008? The real reasons. Since the 239 years old monarchy was abolished, Nepal has had about 14 governments, a level of turnover that repeatedly stalls long-term policy. Why? Reason 1. No durable majorities, the mixed electoral system and fragmented party landscape makes hard for single party to rule. Reason 2. Coalition incentives encourage switching. When a coalition partner walks out, governments often need a new confidence votes and fresh deals, so alliances can change fast. Reason 3. Party splits and leadership rivalries. Nepal's major political parties are constantly splitting into factions and then merging again. That means even after an election, the balance of power in parliament can change unexpectedly. So it's not just about voters changing their minds. It's also about internal conflicts between party leaders and power struggles behind the scenes. And that creates a system where governments can collapse. Not because of elections, but because politicians switch sides. Now keep all of that in your head, because it's exactly why the next part hits so hard. The Gen Z shock, the protest that forced a snap election. In September 2025, Nepal saw its worst upheaval in years after protests, sparked by a social media ban, exploded into nationwide anger over corruption and governance. The ban was later rolled back. It all started with TikTok video. A provincial minister's son posed in front of a Christmas tree made entirely from stacked Louis Vuitton, Cartier and Gucci boxes, in a country where most people earn $1,300 a year. More appeared. Politicians' kids on holiday in Dubai, ministers' relatives driving luxury cars. The hashtag Nepo Baby, borrowed from trending campaigns in Indonesia and the Philippines, exploded across Nepali social media. Videos of the political elite's children showing wealth built on public money. The government panicked. On September 4, 2025, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli ordered the shutdown of 26 social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, WhatsApp, X, LinkedIn, Reddit, Signal, even WeChat and Telegram. The official reason? Platforms hadn't registered under new ministry rules. But with the Nepo Baby campaign dominating feeds, nobody believed a word of it. Young people switched to VPNs. An NGO called Hami Nepal, founded after 2015 earthquake, called for a peaceful rally on September 8 at Kathmandu Maitigar Mandala Square. Bring flowers, they said. It's a peaceful demonstration. That morning, thousands showed up. Many were teenagers. Some had never attended a protest in their lives. By the afternoon, 19 of them were dead. Police fired tear gas, water cannons, rubber bullets, and according to Amnesty International, live ammunition. 17 of the 19 who died were in Kathmandu. The youngest was 12 years old. Reuters reported at least 51 deaths and more than 1,300 injured during that week. Later reporting around the same protest wave referenced higher totals. The outcome was unprecedented. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli resigned. Over 7,500 young Nepalese gathered on a Discord server, the same platform the government couldn't ban, and held a vote. Their chosen candidate, Sushila Karki, former Chief Justice, known for her uncompromising anti-corruption record. Nepal appointed her as interim prime minister, first woman on that position. Parliament was dissolved and snap elections were set for March 5, 2026. So this election isn't happening because Nepal calmly reached the end of the term. It's happening because the streets basically screamed, "We don't trust you anymore." Which brings us to the cast of characters. Before we get into it, quick favor. If you like videos that explain complicated local politics in wider geopolitical context, hit subscribe. It really helps the channel and you won't miss the next episode. The major parties. What they believe, what they are selling, and why it matters. Nepali Congress, the centrist experience brand. What they are. Historically one of Nepal's two dominant parties, often described as centrist, democratic with a big tent style. What they'll pitch. Stability, responsible governance, and reforms without revolution. What's changed? Reporting ahead of this election describes a generational leadership shift with Gagan Tapa at the helm. Their core problem? They are associated with the old order, so they need to convince angry younger voters that experience isn't just code for same corrupt cycle. CPN-UML, the nationalist left powerhouse. What they are. The other dominant pole, led by KP Sharma Oli with strong organization and deep voter networks. What they pitch. Strength, order, development, and the argument that protests created instability. Their core problem. Oli resigned under the pressure of the youth uprising, so UML has to win back legitimacy with voters who blame the state crackdown and corruption. The new unified left, Nepali Communist Party, NCP, a consolidation play ahead of the 2026 vote. Reporting describes a newly formed Nepali Communist Party, created by the merger of multiple communist groups, aiming to reunify parts of the fractured left. You'll hear themes like restore left unity, deliver social justice, protect federalism, and discipline the system. Their core problem, unity helps them in seat math, but voters may still see communist brand politics as part of the same rotating elite that produced 14 governments. RPP, the pro-monarchy Hindu state current. Yes, Nepal is a republic, but a visible pro-monarchy sentiment has been present, including major rallies. Reuters reported deadly violence during a pro-monarchy rally in Kathmandu in 2025. RPP's message is basically the republic experiment failed. Bring back constitutional monarchy and often a stronger Hindu identity. Their core problem? Their support can spike emotionally, but translating that into a national majority is a different game. Still, in a fragmented parliament, even a modest bloc can matter. The Madhya regional kingmaker parties, PSP, Janamat, LSP and others. Nepal's plains region politics, especially Madhya, often revolves around representation, federalism, identity and resource allocation. These parties may not dominate nationally, but they can be decisive in coalition math because they can deliver seats that push someone over the line. And Nepal's politics is all about crossing that line. Rastriya Svanantra Party, RSP, the anti-establishment missile. This is the headline grabber. RSP is a newer party with the anti-corruption, clean governance image. And in late 2025, Reuters reported a major alliance. Kathmandu Mayor Balen Shah joined up with RSP with a deal that he becomes prime minister if RSP wins. This frontrunner to become Nepal's next prime minister isn't a career politician. He didn't rise through party ranks, he didn't come from the military, he came from something far more unexpected. He was a rapper, and not just any rapper, one of the most famous in Nepal. I guess having millions of views, massive youth following, and being one of the most popular artists in country was not enough flex for this guy. This alliance explicitly tries to capture the Gen Z mood. Stop the corruption, stop the revolving door coalitions, make the state actually work. Their core problem? Anti-establishment movements still need parliamentary seats and coalition partners. So even if they surge, they might still be forced into the same horse, trading voters' hate. What voters actually care about, and what campaigns are focusing on. Here's where we use the best available voter research rather than pretending Nepal has American-style weekly polling. A 2026 voters survey summary reported about 60% of respondents want new parties to lead. Many voters were undecided, and economic issues, jobs, cost of living, services ranked highly. So the campaign focus tends to orbit around anti-corruption and accountability, the Gen Z trigger point, jobs and the economy, especially given migration pressures, service delivery, roads, healthcare, education, make the state function, civil liberties versus control after the social media ban backlash, stability because coalition collapse is exhausting, and now the big tension question. If voters won't change, but the system keeps producing coalitions, what does change even look like? That takes us to coalition scenarios. Who can win? Realistic outcomes and coalition scenarios. Let's be precise. Hard national polling is limited, so no one honest should give you a single 90% winner prediction. But we can lay out credible scenarios based on Nepal's coalition structure, the dominant party history, and the new alliances described in reporting. Scenario A. All the giants return. NC plus UML. Grand coalition style. We've seen cooperation between big parties in recent years, and the logic is simple. Together they can produce a stronger governing majority than either can alone. Risk. This can look like an elite pack that proves the protesters right. It's the same club. Scenario B. Anti-establishment surge. RSP plus Balen as center of gravity. If the Gen Z energy turns into votes, RSP's alliance could dramatically expand its seat count and become the coalition anchor. Risk. Even then, they may still need regional parties and defectors, so the new politics promise gets tested immediately. Scenario C. Unified left consolidation. A consolidated left under a new formation could gain from reduced vote splitting. Risk. Left unity doesn't automatically mean public trust, especially after years of rotating prime ministers. Scenario D. The messy classic. Hung parliament, 3-6 party coalition, fragile survival. Honestly, this is the baseline expectation in Nepal's modern era. And that's why this election matters. It's a referendum on whether Nepal can produce a government strong enough to last, without betraying the voters who forced the snap vote in the first place. So when Nepal votes on March 5th, 2026, the world shouldn't just ask who won. The better question is, can Gen Z energy turn into consistent turnout in 165 local races, not just one viral moment? On March 5th, we'll learn whether Nepal's uprising was just a chapter or the start of a whole new political era. So, what do you think? Is this a real Gen Z political takeover, or will the system pull itself back to the same old pattern? Let me know in the comments, and if you want more deep dives into global politics, make sure you're subscribed.